To check out the entire show, hit the link at the bottom of the screen, available exclusively on odds.com. Okay, let's go on. Sunday, January 10th, next up here, 1:05 p.m. Eastern, Baltimore Ravens at Tennessee Titans, 11-5, 6-2 on the road at Tennessee Titans, 11-5, 5-3 at home. Nissan Stadium, Nashville, Tennessee, 41 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 5 miles per hour. So I love that this has gone down to 3. I need to attack this as soon as possible while it's at 3. And it's juiced to minus 120. That's fine. I want the Ravens. I'm also going to be betting the Ravens to win the Super Bowl. It's my first future of the year, getting plus 900. And I'm going to make the Ravens minus 3 an official bet. And I'm going to make the Super Bowl an official bet. And in my playoff pools, I'm going to be making the Ravens over the Titans the most important bet of the entire playoffs for me. And because the Titans can beat the Ravens, don't get me wrong, but my whole plan is that the Ravens roll. Nate Dogg says Ravens were plus 1,400 yesterday. They weren't plus 1,400 in my book yesterday, and they haven't been plus 1,400 for 5 or 6 weeks now. Mateo says, can you just burn your money on camera instead? I hear you guys. And that's what makes capping fun. It doesn't make me upset that Mateo thinks that I should just burn my money instead. I think this Ravens team is extremely dangerous, and it's worth more than a 1-unit bet here at the Titans on Sunday at 1:05. Titans bounced the Ravens from the playoffs last season. The Ravens remember it very, very, very well. The Ravens had so much pressure on them. Now they have none. It was a 28-12 blowout. Derrick Henry ran for 195 yards. They played again this year. Henry ran for 133 yards, scored the game-winning touchdown in overtime. Lamar Jackson looking for his first playoff win. Now he gets a pressure-free situation to get it. He became the first quarterback in NFL history with 2 seasons of more than 1,000 rushing yards. He had a great season, 64.4% of his passes, 2,757 yards, 26 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Marquise Brown caught 58 passes for 769 yards, 8 touchdowns. But it's Mark Andrews who is looked for. He also caught 58 passes, 701 yards, 7 touchdowns. On Sunday, they ran for a club record 404 yards, the 4th team since 1950 to pass 400 yards rushing. J.K. Dobbins is coming into his own, 160 yards, 2 touchdowns. He ran for 805 yards, 9 touchdowns this year. They have no significant new injuries. They expect to have Willie Snead and Ngakwe back. They expect to have Sam Koch back, their punter. And it's Jimmy Smith that we don't know if they will be back. And it's Patrick McCarry who's still out. This is a team that went through a ton of adversity this year and now has no pressure. And that's very dangerous. Bebsie, let's talk about the Ravens. Do you think this is nuts to make this move? And what do you think of their chances on Sunday?
I get why it's enticing. I don't think you're nuts. I understand why you would want to do it. They are getting healthy. They are getting right. But there's 2 huge factors for me. And I completely disagree with you that there's no pressure. There will be pressure on Lamar Jackson in the playoffs until he wins a playoff game. Everything tightens up in the playoffs. No pun intended. The problem here is Lamar has been underwhelming in the playoffs. The struggles that they had early in the year is because this Titans defense sort of gave the blueprint on exactly how to stop them last year. And the other factor is, I've said this a bunch, Greg Roman, he's not imaginative enough. He has his scheme. He loves his RPOs, but if somebody figures it out, he's terrible at in-game changes. That's what bothered me about Greg Roman in San Francisco. That's what bothered me about Greg Roman in Buffalo. That's what bothers me about Greg Roman now. So for me, it's Titans or no play. And I would be very wary about I get why you're excited about Baltimore, and they have been great, and they kind of came in under the radar. I'll agree to that, but no pressure. I can't agree to that at all. Again, until Lamar Jackson wins a playoff game, that's all anyone's going to be talking about. And he's thinking about that. You know he is. He's been killed 2 years in a row for losing, for being one and done.
Okay, would you admit there's less pressure?
No, I won't. I won't admit there's less pressure at all. I will admit that they're coming in under the radar. That's it. Like last year, they were spotlighted because they dominated so much. I do think there are some more weapons around him. I agree with you about J.K. Dobbins. He has been getting stronger and stronger. I couldn't figure out why all year they weren't using him more. It looks good. And yeah, look, revenge game, it's tough to beat a team twice in the same season. I understand that
three times in the same year.
What's that?
3 times in the same year.
That's what I was getting at. 3 times in the same year. They beating them in the playoffs, completely shutting them down. But again, this Titans team is another team that, look, they've got a lot of offensive weapons beyond just Henry, and Henry is on an absolute warpath right now. Yes, I agree. The Titans' defense is problematic.
Yes, let's talk about these Titans right now and close with Bebsie and I in complete disagreement. I think this is a loosey-goose Raven squad and a loosey-goose Lamar Jackson, and I believe that. And Bebsie completely disagrees with me, and that's part of the fun of capping. Last year, almost broke him. So this is a very all the adversity they went through. I think he's ready to bust out in a must-win game with the Titans against the Texans, where the Titans needed to win. They squeaked past them 41-38. Now we've talked about how good Deshaun was this year, but that's nuts to me. Derrick Henry ran for 250 yards. He's got 2,027 on the season with 17 TDs. Bebsie talked about what a dynamic, spectacular running back he is throughout the season. Tannehill completed 65.5% of his passes for 3,819 yards, 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, but didn't look so good as the year went on. But those are great numbers. A.J. Brown caught 70 passes for 1,075 yards, 11 touchdowns. Corey Davis caught 65 passes for 984 yards, 5 touchdowns. The Titans had the most yards in franchise history, 6,343, the most points of 491. It became the first team in NFL history with a 2,000-yard rusher and a 3,500-yard passer in the same season. Only Kansas City averaged more yards per game than Tennessee. The Titans were 4th in scoring at 30.7 points a game. Their defense is what Bebsie was talking about, and that's why I can't back them here. They got 4 sacks in that game against the Texans. That gave them 19 on the year. That's the fewest sacks by a team that's reached the playoffs since Denver had 19 in 1979. Roger Saffold, who's so extremely important, hurt his ankle. He didn't finish the game in Houston. I'm sure he'll try to play. They're already on their 3rd left tackle of the season in David Quisenberry, not to be confused with the Kansas Royal superstar Dan Quisenberry. The Titans finished the season leading the NFL with a plus 11 turnover margin. They tied for 7th with 23 takeaways. Only Green Bay had fewer giveaways than Tennessee's 12. They're a healthy group. Linebacker Derek Roberson is questionable. Defensive tackle Tier Tart and place kicker Steven Gostkowski are on the COVID list. Bebsie, talk to me about the Titans. Talk to me about the Titans defense and let us know how you'll be attacking this game.
I mean, what can I say that you haven't already said, Jimmy? You're absolutely right. Their defense is very suspect. Desmond King has helped them out a bit. Obviously not enough when you get carved up like that. But I did say my apprehension about betting the Titans last week was that team getting up and playing for J.J. Watt and Deshaun Watson after what J.J. Watt said. So, and also like the added boost of possibly knocking out a division rival by upsetting them in Week 17. So, as bad as it was to not absolutely annihilate the team with the third worst record in football, there's a reason why that game went the way it did. Deshaun Watson balled out like crazy. I don't think Lamar Jackson is going to play like Deshaun Watson did last week. I also think there's no answer for Derrick Henry. The thing about Derrick Henry is, and I'm not sure if I've said this before on the show, but Derrick Henry is in the perfect time to be successful. He is a monster running back when every defense in the NFL is built to stop a passing game and speed and mobile linebackers or mobile quarterbacks. I mean, he is a giant man who faces teams. Once he gets to that second level, you know how many guys make business decisions against him just because they're not built to stop a man. No defense in the NFL is currently built to stop him. Even the Ravens, who are a very solid defense. And Patrick Queen's a great rookie linebacker, and they have Calais Campbell. There's still nobody who's really built to face a man of that size. There's nobody who can stop a big back right now because every defense is built to stop speed. Now, on top of that, you have A.J. Brown, who is an absolute freak. And he just seems to get better and better. He seems healthy right now. Tannehill is sneaky mobile. And I just think offensively they can get it done. It's just how much can their defense shut this down? And we saw last season that this Titans defense really showed the blueprint of the league on how to stop this Ravens offense.
Very, very interesting. Al Cervic says, isn't this just the over? Isn't that the easy play here? How do you respond to that, Bebsie?
Yes, Al. Everything points to over, except the fact that, look, the Ravens' offense has not been what they are in the regular season, in the playoffs for the last two seasons. So, like I said before, like Dennis Garcia is saying in the chat, until Lamar and this Ravens offense shows they can do it in the playoffs, it's really hard to bet that.
So it's sitting at 55. And
Ron Burgundy asked, Bebsie, do those business decisions go out out the window in the playoffs? Yes, I do believe that nobody's going to get out of the way with the elimination on the line, but they're still not really built to do it. And the problem is, if you don't make business decisions against this man in the fourth quarter, he makes you pay. Because if you're a little guy hitting a big guy, even if you take him down a bunch, it hurts more to hit him than it hurts him to be hit.
So, Bebsie, this is obviously, you guys know how I'm attacking in the playoffs. This is the most exciting game for me by far this weekend.
I completely agree with that, Jimmy. We're lockstep in that. I think this will be the most fun to watch.
And are you going to be betting it?
I'm going to be prop heavy in this game, I think. It's just hard for me to bet on this Titans defense and for them to win a third time in a row. I am definitely leaning Titans. But you and I head-to-head has been all you this year.
Well, it's just too small of a sample size. But they mean memorable, but very small sample size. You've had the better season by far. That's what's most important. So I don't need to bet the over. And your fear of betting the over is because of what happened last year when the Ravens got completely shut down. And I think the Ravens put up points. So if you trust the Ravens to put up points, then is the over a must bet?
If you trust the Ravens to put up the points, then absolutely. If you think the Ravens can overcome what they've done the last 2 years in the playoffs and what Greg Roman has done many times in the playoffs, then you have to bet the over.
So this team total of 25.5 for the Titans, you think is too low?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So do you want to bet it?
Yeah.
I don't mean to walk you into this.
No, I saw you just said it, and then I saw something in the chat, and then I was kind of just happy with what I said. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna leave it hanging out there.
So you want the Titans team total over 25.5. Let me see what it is at FanDuel. See if I can get you off of this minus 120 juice that I don't want any of us to have to deal with. Minus 120 on all team totals. That's how Bet365 made that woman the top 10 richest women in the world. Let's go here. Football. Let's see what we can get you. Let's get you something under that ridiculous juice. The team total. Oh, I don't even know if it's available. Oh, yes, it is. The team total 29.5 minus 1. Oh, sorry. You are the home team. It's at 26. So would you rather have 25.5 at minus 120 or 26 at minus 110? 25.5 is not a crucial number.
No. Yeah, I think I'd rather take the 26.
I agree with that. Okay, so Bebsie's on the board with Titans team total over. So do you think there's any chance? Now, I know you're betting this Titans, so it does go against your angle here. And sorry I'm hammering this game so hard, but do you think there's any chance that the Ravens can shut down the Titans offensively and that the Titans struggle to get points? Do you think, I don't know if it'd be a red zone breakdown or whatever it is, or do you think if the Titans are down, like we've seen them before, down 20 or 25 points and they roar back late, do you think that the Titans are going to put up 20 plus points? It's the chances are over 90% that they put up over 20 points.
I do, just because you see how much Derrick Henry wears defenses down. It sucks hitting a guy like that for a full 60 minutes. It does. It, like, especially when, you consider the first time you hit him to the last time you're going to have to hit him is 3 hours apart. It hurts.
When you watch the Texans put up 38 points on the Titans, do you think the Ravens are going to cash their 29.5 team total as well?
I think the Ravens?
You have the biggest question for you is whether Lamar can do it in crunch time with all the pressure on him.
Yeah, that's my whole thing is here. I can't back the Ravens offense and Lamar Jackson until I see him overcome that. Until I see him overcome that mental hurdle that he now faces. And look, they are going to be talking about this leading up to the game. And it's going to be in Lamar's mind. There's no two ways about it. I know you think there's less pressure, and I think you're confusing pressure with the team sneaking in under the radar. Less people are talking about the Ravens overall, but the narrative of this game is still going to be, can Lamar overcome what he's done in the past?
I do think coming in under the radar will help that pressure. And I do think having the worst – losing to the Titans last year the way they did, I believe it was, 28-12. He'll never get that low again, even if he loses here. because this Ravens team doesn't have the same expectations. So I don't feel like I'm confusing anything. And the guys in the chat agree with you and think I'm wrong here. But I don't think my idea
is right, because I'm not betting against you. So I'm rooting for you here. And look, I like Lamar Jackson a lot. I want him to succeed, especially because I love when people doubt a guy and he flips them all off. I really want to see it.
Well, I'm not going to take the over. It's such a public look, and it's gone down a point. And so I could take the team total over. I'd rather bet more on the Ravens -3 and more on the – I don't need to bet much on the Ravens winning the Super Bowl because it's plus 900. Okay. That was extremely enjoyable, and that was a lot of fun, Bebsie. Okay, Ravens. I'm on Ravens -3. I'm on Ravens to win the Super Bowl. Bebsie's on the team total over 26 for the Titans, and that's where we leave it. That's where we're gonna leave it. I'm not gonna mess with this total. It's just gonna be such a public play, and it scares me. Ron Walsick says, let's ride Jackson over rushing props. Can you talk about the props that you want to attack in this game? If I set Derrick Henry's rush yards at 105.5, would you take the over? You would?
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson, if I set his rush props at 79.5, you would take the under?
Yeah, I think his rush props, I can't see them being that high. When he was so close to getting 1,000 yards again this weekend, which was an extremely easy bet, I thought, and he crushed it because they set it 30 yards below what he needed to get the 1,000. So if they're thinking 60 in a situation where he's playing a weak opponent, it's not going to be higher than 60.
Yeah, Prince saying 65 to 70. 4,633 yards, 40 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions.